Hi everyone, Alisha Bhatt here. Today I'm going to demonstrate a quick and easy method of icing a cake using fresh strawberries to give it an exotic look.
Okay, transferring the icing into the piping bag. So I've got my beer mug here. I'm going to just anchor the sides of the icing bag and drop in all the icing. So by rule of thumb, you would require buttercream of say about 150 grams of butter for a 1 kg cake. That should be enough. I made buttercream, a small quantity of buttercream now, that is with 50 grams of butter and 100 grams of icing sugar. So I did that because I already have some icing ready here. Alright, so now this is ready. I'll keep it aside and we'll start working on the cake. Okay. Yeah. So now we've got the cake. Let's take it off the pan. So this is it. Yeah. I just take this off. I'm inverting it, removing the pan, and we'll take off all the paper. So now, to make sure that the cake is moist and not too dry inside, we'll have to slice it and pour some sugar syrup, which I always make it ready in advance and keep it in a bottle. Use it as and when required. So what I'll do is cut it slightly at the center here. Okay. So I'm not going to be too precise on the shape of it because it doesn't really matter. It's all going to be covered with icing. So just to take it off evenly, I made a slit and I'm passing a thread around. So now I'll crisscross the thread here and pull it. See, the cake is sliced. Alright, so now I'm going to put one half of it here. I'll take off one half of it and put it in the plate, in the other plate. Now on this, I'm going to sprinkle some sugar syrup, just roughly all over, so that the cake absorbs it and it will be nice and moist on the bite. Yeah. This one needs to go upside down. Yeah. On the uneven side. So here we go. Sugar syrup is nicely liberally sprinkled all over, and this will also help to hold the cake together. Now we'll layer it with some ganache. This ganache was prepared earlier and kept ready. This ganache is made out of cooking chocolate and a little bit of milk, like maybe a quarter cup of milk. And I'm going to pour this all over. Yeah. So the chocolate ganache makes it real chocolatey, and we spread it. Okay, I've made sure that I've got all my chocolate ganache here. This chocolate ganache has been made with a quarter slab of cooking chocolate, and like I said, a quarter cup of milk, less than a quarter cup of milk I should say. And so this is it. Now I'm going to put this, fix this back. Okay, now I'm going to fix this back. So I hold it like this and then just flop it on. Right. Yeah. Now this cake is ready to work on with the icing. I'm going to keep this cake on an inverted plate so that it's easy for my knives to work around it. Because if it's like this, then the icing falls in over here and it's difficult to move. So I'm going to slip this off onto this plate. Yeah. And now I'll first spread the icing on the sides, give a thick layer all around. Okay, yeah, I'm giving a thick layer all around. So I'll go ahead with one layer of this and then smoothen it, and if required I'll use another layer. As you can see, I have spread this the icing all around, just like so. This is called the crumb coat. So before we do any icing, we'll first do the crumb coat and keep it in for a while in the refrigerator. And so what happens is that the crumbs get held on. That's why it's called a crumb coat. The crumbs get held on, and then it makes it easier for us to give it the final round of icing. So also you can see that I've just roughly dropped the icing on the top too. So I'm going to spread it on. Okay. You can see that the cake is slightly sunken over here, but that doesn't matter. All that gets covered and leveled when we are doing our icing. Yeah. So now I'll just put this in the refrigerator for say about 15 to 20 minutes, and the crumb coat will be good. For the fruit layered icing, we need a spring form pan. This is a must. So I'm just opening out the spring form, and see, this is where we'll keep the cake, and we'll start layering the icing here. And the icing done, we'll line it first with butter paper and then spread the icing and fix the fruits. So this is how I'm going to prepare my spring form pan. So I'm going to brush on the oil. Okay. We don't want oil to come onto the icing, but the oil is required to hold the butter paper on. So it will just be on the butter paper. You won't get the taste of oil in the icing. So yeah, so I'll just take another piece of this and maybe this much and cut it off. And here again I'm going to overlap this like this and turn it around, fix it. So this is pretty much ready to be layered with icing. So also we have to see that it doesn't have too many folds here, because the folds will show on the icing after it's set. So I'll smoothen it now. Yeah. we will get a little bit of fold, but that's okay. Here. And now I'm going to start spreading the icing and fix the fruits. Can you get it on the camera? The inside part of it?
Yes.
So here I am lining a thin layer of buttercream icing, and as I'm doing it, I'll be fixing the fruits. So let me take this. These are slices of strawberries. I've sliced it along with the little leaves so that it will give it a pretty look. And how you do it is, since we have the icing layered here, the icing will hold it. The icing will hold the fruits, but we have to make sure that the fruits slide against the pan and down onto the icing. So that way, when it's finished, we should be able to see the fruit. So here again, a thin layer of buttercream. We finish one round of the strawberries, and then we'll add on the other fruits. I'm not using too many fruits, just these three. That's grapes, which are again sliced into halves, and the pomegranates, of course. Yeah. Let me start fixing my strawberries. So I'll just swiftly slide them on one by one. This looks pretty once it's done, it's finished. Try as far as possible to keep on the leaf because this looks really pretty. I have finished layering the strawberries, and now I'll start with grapes. Just put one grape, one piece of it here like so, just to give it a bit of a green color. And so for every 2 spaces I'll place one bit of one piece of grape. It's up to you. You can even use slices of oranges or pluck out the orange, removing the top layer and then put it. So it looks very pretty. It's just use your imagination and use fruits of colors of your choice. Just make it look pretty. Now I'll start using some pomegranate. Just a little. Before pomegranate, I've changed the tip over here, made it a little small so that I can put small bits of, take finer bits of the icing, because I need something to hold the pomegranate bits. So I'll first put it a little bit like this. Yeah, and now I'll fix the pomegranate. Otherwise the pomegranate bits will slip and fall. This will hold on. So again I'll put a little bit of icing. Also this way there'll be a little bit of white alternating with the colors, so it will bring out the colors well. Yeah. So what I've done now is that in the alternate gaps between the grapes that I've put, I've applied the buttercream in V's, okay, in V shape like this. So all around, I've done it that way. So this will speed up your decorating. See, I've just done that. Just roughly put a bit of buttercream, and then this will make your work more swift, and you can concentrate on dropping the pomegranate bits. Yeah, here like this. So we don't have to spend much time, you can keep doing it fast. Also, when you have too many cake orders, then you'll have to do the icing fast, and you use these little tips on how to speed up your work. Yeah, so this is done. Now I'll just continue covering the rest of it, all the gaps, all these gaps, I'll cover it with the buttercream. So all I'm going to do is just continuously pour in apply the buttercream. So while I apply the buttercream, I'll be covering this portion also. Okay, I'll just put this so that it holds on to the pomegranate bits for now, and then move on to covering the strawberries with icing. So this is done. Now we can bring the cake in and put the layers, put the cake in the center and fill in the gaps with the icing. The crumb coating is well set. When I touch it, you can see nothing is coming off. So now I'll continue applying the buttercream on the top, and I won't do a very fine job of this because it's anyway going to be covered with strawberry jelly, and I'll just put a layer this, and the crumb coating will suffice for now. So here I'm going to slowly lower the cake into the center of this pan. Okay, so let's do it without disturbing the fruit layer. So 1, 2 and 3. I'm dropping it in. So let me see. I hope this hasn't disturbed it much, and I'm going to gently ease it in. Hopefully my pomegranates are not falling off. Yeah, I think this is good. It's working. Now in these gaps, I'm going to fill up the gaps with buttercream icing so that it goes and settles in well. Once we do this, the buttercream will hold on to the cake and hold the fruits onto the cake. I think this should do. I can also take some of this and drop it in. Alright. So I've evened this, and I'm going to set it back again in the fridge so that the buttercream will harden and hold the fruits onto the cake well. Once it's set, that is after about another 15 minutes, I'll be opening out the spring form and then completing the icing on top. Once the icing is fully set, then I'll prepare my jelly and pour it onto it. Okay, so we'll get back to this work after the icing is set. This cake was kept in the fridge for half an hour, that is after the fruit icing. And now we'll open the spring form and lift it off. Let's hope it's nice and neat. Okay. So you can see the cake is moving inside. That means I can lift this off easily. So this done, we'll start gently removing the butter paper. Okay, not bad. You can see there are some gaps which are not so neat, but we can set that right with a little more of the icing. Yeah. Alright. Now you can see there are a bit of goof ups. So while I was slipping the cake, one thing has slid down. So not to worry, we'll set that right. So I'll just gently lift the cake and take out. You can see I'm gently lifting the cake and removing the strawberries from inside. Alright. So we can always salvage it. Icing is not as difficult as it seems. So I'm gently removing this, and yeah, I removed one piece.
Can we see how you're removing it?
Yeah, I'm just lifting the cake and sliding it off with the knife.
Please turn it towards the camera.
Yeah, I've done this. You can see, just gently lifted the cake like this and slid the strawberries out. So now I will fix them. I can take a little bit more of icing, put the icing on and make it sit here. Now I'll fix them back. Okay, not bad. See those little damages? You can always repair them and do a little finishing. Okay. Yeah. Right. So I'll just get myself a little bit of tissue paper. So just a little bit of tissue. And I'm taking off the icing which is on it. Okay. Now I'll feed in a little bit of icing in the gaps. All we need to do is pretty it up a little. Okay. While icing, you have to remember that you have to use your imagination and remove the mess ups. You can always make it look good. I'm giving small V's. You can see my pomegranates have disappeared. I will create these V's and fix back some pomegranates.
Can we bring it to the center, please?
So that it can still. Is this okay?
Yes.
Yeah. So now I'm going to take some pomegranates and put them in. So now the rest of it I will spread on the top and even it out, because this is going to get covered with jelly. So I'm just giving one layer of this. Just one layer of white icing. To smoothen it and avoid the lines from showing, I've got myself some warm water here, and I'm using my offset spatula. Where is it? Let me just get my offset spatula. So I've got my offset spatula now, and I'm just wiping off the excess water, and I will smoothen this. Don't stress over making your cakes perfect. Just enjoy the process of baking and icing them. And as you keep going, it will become easier. The more cakes you bake, the more of them you ice, it becomes easier. As you can see, this thing is not too fine, and the sides, you can see some of the pomegranates, I mean whatever, the fruit, and some of the parts are slightly brown, but I'm not going to spend much time on that. All that can get covered up. So I'm going to start doing the edging. Okay, so do a simple move it like in a hook, in the shape of a hook, and start covering the edge. Once the edging is done, I'm going to again stick it back in the fridge so that it hardens, because now it's summertime, it will start melting even. Now I finished the edging. I'm going to stick it back in the fridge for a while so that it hardens, and after that I will pour the jelly. The jelly, I have already cooked it and brought it down to room temperature. In about 10 minutes I'm going to come and pour the jelly on this. Yeah. Now this icing is also, the edging is quite well set, and I've got my jelly all cooked and brought to room temperature, and it's ready to pour. But before I do that, I'll first transfer the cake to the board. Okay, so let's keep this aside. This is a bit of a tricky part. So here we can end up disturbing the fruit, plus plus your cake can even fall apart. So you have to do it very gently. So yeah, so I've just slid this icing knife right in, and I'm going to move it gently to one side. Okay, and then I'm going to take my other icing knife and slide it through the same gap which I created, lifting the cake very gently, and I will move it aside. Now, the first icing blade which I slid in is very flimsy, so it won't take the weight of the cake. I'm going to take it out. Okay, I've taken this out. So now for this I'm going to use a more sturdy knife. Okay, this knife has to get has to support the cake on the other end too, almost to this end. So that's exactly what I'm trying to do. Trying to bring it to the side, yeah, so that it is deep inside. Okay, I think that should be all right. That should be safe. Yeah, I can feel it. Feel it here. This is a bit of a struggle, but it's okay. I know I can fix it all, no matter what. So here, now I'm going to slide this. This is a more sturdy, it's a thick knife. I'm going to slide it so it will support the cake well. Yeah. Now 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to lift the cake and put it onto this. That's done. So we'll gently slide out the knives, and now this one too. Done. Okay. Now all that's remaining. Now all that's remaining is to salvage the icing. So we'll do that. Okay. Here, one piece has, or 2 pieces have come off completely. Yeah. Now these little gaps, that's fine. We can use the icing.
Can you show us the fixed portion, please?
Yeah. See, this one had come off, and I put it back. I put it back in here. Okay. And here. One moment. Let me take this out. See, this part, it's come off, and I'm going to, and also this is a little broken, so no problem. You just push it in and we'll slip it. See, that gets hidden, and we can always take a little bit of the icing and pretty it up, you know, cover the flaws. Yeah. I think this is okay. Yeah. And now take a little bit of tissue and clean up all the mess
on the board.
On the board and close to the fruit, and now for the finishing touches, I need a little bit of height here. I'll put this bowl here and the board on it. Yeah. So this, I think this is more comfortable for me. And now, can you see this damage here?
Yes.
all these things.
Yes.
I'm going to touch it up.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So this done, I'll be fixing the pomegranates on pomegranate bits. So fixing of the seeds too doesn't have to be perfectly geometric. You can randomly fix them. It's anyway going to look pretty.
So there's perfection and imperfection.
Yeah, that's it. So I think this is okay. I'm just going to clean up some more. Needs a little bit of cleaning, tidying up all around. So you can tidy that up. Now what I'm going to do is to give it a little base. These untidy portions will get covered up. Okay, so I'll start giving it. It's good to keep some pointed skewers around while you're doing this, so that it helps you clean up the mess. Now you can see all those ugly gaps have got covered. Okay. And just before delivering this cake, I will still tidy up a little bit. And now I can pour the jelly over it. So I'm going to just pour the jelly. If it spills a little, it's okay. It will show the spillage on the sides. Like I said, all the unevenness will get covered. It gives a nice pretty look. Okay, so this is done, and I'm taking off whatever spilt. And I need to deliver this cake in the morning, so I've just done it now, and all night it will be in the fridge so that the jelly will set well.